So yesterday we covered the standard values insert option, but we didn't cover the data template inheritance. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the data template inheritance. Okay, so because I mean the template inside core is I mean if you guys understood in one session, then it's good. Maybe if you're not understanding it, I have to keep you telling it its concept. Okay, because this is the structure. If you understood in Sitecore, then you will understand everything. Okay, because template is the templating is the concept in the Sitecore, where I mean we used to define a component. Okay, we used to define some structure for a component, or maybe for a content, or for a maybe piece of content, we can say, like how uh, the content structure will store the data inside the Sitecore, how the content structure will look like when the user is going to visit that component or maybe the content. So those things we have to first define. Okay, so let me again tell you about the I mean I'll also cover for today as well as standard values answered, but the main point is the data template inheritance. Okay, and other thing like data template, you already know in a Sitecore, you know everything in inside the template node and whatever like we are creating, that is a template item. Okay, that is we can call like a template item. Okay, so give me a second, let me log into the server. Okay, so what's the template is, what's the template inheritance is. Okay, and also tell you what the data template inside core means. And any template item we create inside the uh, Sitecore that is going to contain, or that is going to store the data, will be a data template. Okay, suppose yesterday we just saw like how we are going to create how we created yesterday a promo component, where I mean we define the fields. Okay, fields for heading, fields for paragraph, fields for the button, fields for the image. So I mean that the complete those fields, and the template is making what, it's making a data template. Okay, because that will be a, that's going to store some kind of data when we are going to create the item using that template. Okay, so that will be a data template. Okay, so I mean there are the few terms you maybe you are not getting right now, but you have to understand this way. Okay, so the template is where I mean we have to design the structure of the component, structure of the content. Okay, next is data template inheritance. So inheritance is you know, you maybe know like what is the inheritance. Inheritance means there will be some base in terms of, you know, like a programming in C# or maybe in any other, in maybe in a JavaScript as well, in a JavaScript framework as well. This is the one concept, like an inheritance, like some property will inherit from some base class or maybe base property to somewhere in a some other class or some other property. Okay, so I mean inherit means we are grabbing some functionality or maybe some properties or maybe some functions to the existing functions. Okay, we are adding something some functions to to some classes, some property, like that. Okay, so inheritance means we are inheriting something, we are grabbing some others property to ourselves, like that. Okay, you have to understand this way. Okay, so let me make sure I can show you. So when I'm going to show you the practically, you will understand it, what the inheritance means. Okay, in the Sitecore template. I mean, similar kind of practice we do have in the backend technology in C# ASP.NET. When we inheritance is one of the hooks concept, right? I mean, you guys know. I mean, the similar functionality or similar concept we have in a Sitecore as well when we are going to create a template. Okay. So I mean, creating template in a Sitecore is similar, like we are creating like a model entity, we can say, like how we are going to store the data. I mean, kind of like you can understand it. Okay, let's don't waste the time. Okay, so I mean, I explained you about the inheritance, right? Similarly, we have standard values. So yesterday I told you the standard values means creating a default values inside the Sitecore template. Okay, so when we create a standard values, so it's created standard values item of the template, where we can define we can add a token. Yesterday I saw you how we can add a token for heading. I also show you how we can put the values inside the standard value fields. Okay, insert option is I explained you yesterday, like user will get an option to insert or create the item, the template item which we created in this in the template section. Okay, in a template node. So those template item will be there when we are creating creating item inside the content tree. Okay, in a content node, in a content tree, where we used to create a data source, we will use to create the page item. Okay, so there if we are creating, yesterday I also saw you about like how we are going to create a folder item. In that folder item we can just assign or set the insert options. So for that how we were doing like just clicking on the configure button, Okay, configure button in a ribbon, then we get the assign, then we were just selecting, I mean, what are the template item we want to show, like a insert options. Okay, so this is the how, I mean, we did yesterday. So I'll just show you like how, again, so that it will be like you can remember it again. Okay, let me see if I can, if Sitecore is accessible. Okay, so I mean, main agenda for today is to explain you about the presentation. Okay, so what is the presentation means in Sitecore? Okay, so in the Sitecore, generally presentation means like a how our page will look like, or how our website will look like. Okay, how our component in the page will look like. So that's the presentation means. Okay, so there are, I mean, few things there for the presentation in the Sitecore. So I mean, when we are saying like a presentation in Sitecore, so it's not only the page, but there are, I mean, many other attributes, there are many other supporting things in a presentation. If I say like a page, so in page, what the page, how page is built into the Sitecore. So there are maybe few components, there are maybe some layout. Okay, there are maybe some placeholders, there may be some sub layouts. So those all, I mean, when we sum up all, and it makes a page. So okay, so this is how, I mean, we make. So it's not only the single component or single page will make a page, but in terms of Sitecore, because we make everything like a component wise or a modular wise. So suppose header will be a one component, maybe in header maybe there can be other more components as well. Like that, there will be a content section. Content section can have many components there. Okay, so we can sum up all the components to make a content section like that. When we sum up all the header, footer, content section, then it makes a complete page. And there also we add like layout, sub layout. Okay, there are placeholder also play a very important role just to place our component in the layouts. Okay, so those things I'm going to explain you today in a presentation. Okay, so I mean, you may be now a bit understood like what the presentation means in the Sitecore is. So again, let me rephrase it again. Like, presentation in Sitecore means like showing our content to the end user, like how we are showing, how dynamically we are showing, or how frequently we can update, how frequently we can change the content position here and there. Okay, so that kind of functionality Sitecore provides us. Okay, so I mean, suppose we have to change something, I mean, without any code into the header. So I mean, we already have some components that we can attach into the header. So we can just directly go to the presentation of the Sitecore page, presentation of the Sitecore. There we can remove the component, we can add the new component into the page, and we can publish. It will show us the result. Okay, so this is, I mean, how we do in a Sitecore. So let me just log into the Sitecore and show you quickly. Okay, so presentation, what the presentation I was explaining about. Okay, so suppose when I'm one second, this is the home, this is the home page, this is the home page. If I'm right clicking it, so it giving me a insert option. Insert option, what I can insert, what I can create inside the home. Okay, so home is a page. Okay, so how, first of all, like how we can differentiate between the page item and a data source item. Okay, so generally data source item will not have a presentation details. Okay, so I was telling you about now the present, what is the presentation. So presentation in a site core means those who have a layout. Okay, layout configured. So if I say like how I'm going to check the layout, so if you click in the ribbon, you will go to the presentation tab. Okay, you will click the presentation and then click on the details. Here in the below you click on the details. There we find two tabs, shared layout and panel layout. Okay, so you can see we don't have a layout. It's saying no layout is specified. In a panel layout as well, it's saying no layout specified. Okay, so this data item has no layout, means this data item is not a page. Okay, not a page or not a page item. Getting? Next, if I go just above the data item, I can see this is home. This is a home item page, so it will be a page item. So how I can verify quickly is a page item or a data source item? Okay, so if I click on it and click on the details, okay, in a shared layout as well, I can see there is main layout is attached. Okay, some kind of layout is attached here. If I go to the panel, I can see this is the layout and these are the controls. These are the controls, mean the components are attached here. Okay, so I can make sure, I mean this is, I mean these are the components or controls are attached. This is the layout is attached here. So now we can consider this item like a page item because we have layout in it. So what it mean layout? If some item has a layout, it can present something. Okay, suppose if I'm running this website, let me show you. Okay, there is some error in it. Let me quickly fix. So I mean this is very common error in Sitecore. I know what's the issue, so I'm just, let me just remove this for now. Okay, so our page is launching now. So what I'll tell you is I'll tell you the complete how, I mean we are making this complete website from start to end. Okay, and how we are creating in the header footer, how we are creating the content section, that's all. I'll explain you all things so that you guys can have a very good idea about like how to develop a website or portal inside the Sitecore. Okay, getting? Suppose so I mean what I mean to tell you today was about the presentation. So I told you how you can differentiate between the data source item or a page item, mostly the page item and data source item, or maybe other kind of item. Okay, I mean you now knew that how the page item we differentiate. The page item means if there is a layout, then it's a page item. If there is no layout, so that might be the other item, maybe a data source item. Data source item, what we can consider data source item? If the item is beneath the data, okay, beneath the data item like this, so we can consider them like a data source item. Okay, so I mean what I supposed to explain you that was the inheritance. Okay, so let me go back to the Sitecore dashboard and tell you. So this is how, this is Sitecore 10.3 and we have made this the demo application, the whole demo application in a 10.3. So I'll tell you when I'm going to see, from start to end, I'll tell you how, I mean, we made this whole website in the Sitecore 10.3, we'll have a complete idea. Okay, so don't worry. So let me, yesterday we go through all the, all the features, all the tabs we seen. Okay, mostly as a developer, you need to know container, experience editor, media library, workbox. Okay, so these are the tools mostly you need to know for the development. Okay, in a control panel, when I'm going to the click on desktop, so it will launch our Sitecore as a desktop view. Okay, you see, it's like a desktop view. Now when I'm clicking it, it will generally launch like a desktop in a normal Windows system like this. Okay, so similarly we have in a Sitecore start button, this Sitecore start button, we have this. So from there also you can find the content editor. So mostly we are going to work on content editor, we are going to work on media library, we are going to work on template manager. Getting? There are others also. I'll tell you, mostly like development tools you have to mostly work in terms of like moving the package, creating the package. Okay, there are reporting tools. Maybe if you have to debug your code, you're not getting why the issue is, you can just go and see the log viewer. Okay, there are security tools as well. I'll show you like how you can create user, how you can assign a role, how you can create a domain manager and all. Okay, let's directly go to the template manager just to explain you about like what's the data template is. Okay, okay, so I opened the template manager. In template manager, yesterday, I mean, I already explained you about all the features like folder features and project. Okay, so let me directly go to the features, and we created a project like a Sitecore tutorial. Okay, in a Sitecore tutorial, we yesterday we made a template, this one, promo. Okay, we made a promo. So in a promo, I mean, this is the builder tab where, I mean, we define our fields. Okay, sometimes what happens, for the inheritance, these are the fields for the promo field. Okay, so I mean, if you want something to add in it, I mean, without adding the field in it, okay, without directly adding the field, so that we want like something to be inherited, some fields to be inherited in this promo. Okay, maybe any field it can be. If it is a promo component, if it is a promo component, so maybe we need some CSS. Okay, we need some CSS to be added in this. Okay, or maybe we can add a field, some field like maybe we can add one, suppose for that, for the something to inherit to some other template, we have to make a base template. So let's make a one base template. So to just create a template, what I can do is just right click and insert and create a new template. Okay, so in a base template, what we supposed to do, suppose we have a promo component and we have more than one image. So what we can do in a promo template, now what we have created, we can add only a one image. Okay, so we can add one base image here. Okay, so that we can add that image, base image, to the promo component, this promo template. Okay, So let me add a base image here. Maybe I can name like a base image, right? Base image, sorry. Okay, added a base image. Click next. I'll click next. I'm going to create in Sitecore tutorials. Okay, close. So we created a template atom base image. Okay, now in the builder tab, what is asking us? It's asking us to give the section name. So let's give me the let's give a section name like a base image. Okay, base image data. So I added a section name like a base image data. What I supposed to add here? I supposed to add like a image title. Just like a base image we are adding. Okay, image title will be a single line. So in data type we have lot of data type. Okay, we can select if it is a title kind of thing. So generally we add a single line text. Okay, then maybe a base image. Let me add a base image. It will be an image tab. So tab I will select like an image tab. Okay, so now we gave the section name, we give the field name image title, we gave base image as a field name. Okay, let's save it. We can add some icon on it as well. When I'm clicking now, I was on the builder tab. When I'm going to click on content, I can get I can change the icon so that it look good. If generally for the base item we don't add the icon, but if you want we can add. For now let's don't add the icon. We can decide for the every base template we can have something a common icon or maybe some kind we can plan. For now let's don't add the image icon. Okay, so now I have this base image template. So what I'll do is now I'll add this base template image on this promo. Okay, this promo template. So when I'm clicking on the promo and to add that like an inheritance, when I'm clicking on the inheritance I can see already we have some items or templates are inherited by default. Yesterday we added a one inheritance like a base CSS. So this is the base CSS we added there. We are adding a one field like a CSS. So similarly we have to add. So it's a pretty simple to add the base template into the some other template item. Okay, so for that I have to just click on the content tab. In a content tab what it will show, I'll come down, I'll see a data section here. There is a base template, so I have to select the base template to this side, the selected side. It will appear like a selected side. Okay, so let me go to the project. Okay, project where we have created a base template here. So let me just double click it. When I double click, it will appear in the selected side box. Okay, so like a base image. Let me hit save. You can just Control S or maybe you can hit save here. Okay, both will work. Okay, so when I'm adding this, now I can see the similar this field, whatever like this field I have added like a image title base template, I can see those into the promo template item inside the standard values. Okay, so what is the standard value? Means standard value is a replica of item we are going to create inside the content editor. Okay, so that's the standard values. So I can see there, I can see now here like what it's showing me. See, promo data are the fields we already have with the promote template. Okay.
Okay.
Next,
Next,
base
base
image,
image,
base image
base image
data.
data.
These are
These are
the
the
fields
fields
we inheriting from
inheriting
the
from
base
the base
template.
template.
Okay, we
Okay, we
added
added
like a
like a
inherit,
inherit,
and
and
now it
now
started
it started
showing us
showing
in
us in
like a
like
base
a
image.
base image.
Okay,
Okay,
base
base
CSS
CSS
is
is
the
the
another base
another base
template we
template
created
we
like a
created like a
CSS.
CSS.
It's showing like
Showing
this.
like this.
So it is
So it
it,
is it,
right?
right?
Prem,
So
your
Prem, you
now,
sound is
now.
hello.
Hello.
yes.
Yes.
Sound is
Sound is
echo.
you.
Okay, you
Okay,
can
you
just
can
mute
just
yourself.
mute yourself.
Okay,
Okay,
Saurabh, you
Saurabh,
have
you
to
have
mute
mute if you
if
have.
you don't have any question. Okay, thanks. Okay, so this is how we do. Okay, suppose now if I'm going to create item using this promo template item. Okay, so this is the concept, you know, throughout the whole session I'm going to explain how we create the template, how we configure this there, how we create item, you know. So I mean it takes sometimes, you know, to understand what the template is, but I know, I mean little bit you are now able to understand like what we are creating, how we are creating. Okay, so I mean, slowly you will start understanding it, and you will. I'm sure. I mean, you guys will work like a pro, Sitecore pro. So I mean, don't worry. Just focus on the like what I'm explaining. Okay. So I mean, we have an insert option in promo folder. So you can see when I'm right clicking it and I'm click and create some. Maybe I'll create a data source item now. So now with the new item promo 1, okay, you can see those fields are coming like promo data. Promo data are the default data, I mean default fields which are coming from the promo template. Base image fields are the base image fields data are the fields are coming from the base image, I mean base image template we inherited. Base CSS data is are coming from the base CSS template which we inherited from the base CSS template. Okay, so you got it right, the what is the data inheritance is. Okay, so I mean we inherited from the base image, and it's showing us on the promo. So I mean sorry there. Okay, is showing us on the promo template. So in a quick info, if I show you, so you can see the where this item is creating from. See, this item we are creating from the template promo. Okay, when you are creating the item, it will create a unique item ID, it will create an item name and its item path, like where it's created and from where it's creating item. So it's creating an item from the promo template item. Okay, so this is how, you know, we are creating the creating a template. We are assigning our inheritance into the templates. Okay, so I mean I'll explain you the real example. This is the real example as well, but maybe when it will be completely showing a component into the page like this, okay, then I think you'll be able to understand. Okay, okay, so let's move ahead, and I'll explain you guys about the presentation. Okay, because I started explaining about the presentation, like what the presentation means. Okay, so let me again explain you what the presentation means is. Okay, let me just click one page here. Blog. So I mean, how we create here is, I mean, I have already configured these things into the template, so that's why it's giving me an option to I can create a page here. Okay, that's the reason it's giving me option to create. Okay, like about blog. So for now, I mean, let me just explain you about like I explained you about what the difference between the page item, what's the difference between the data source item or maybe data item. Okay, so wherever like we are getting, uh, if you click the item and go to the presentation tab in the ribbon, then you go to the details. If you find there is a layout attached in a shade or panel layout, so means it is a page item. Okay, this is how the presentation is. Okay, and this is the, I mean, the presentation for a Sitecore page. Okay, this is how it looks like in a content editor. I'll show you that in a experience editor as well. There, I mean, we have an option where we can, I mean, configure, we can select like this as well. But for now, let me just tell you about the content editor only. If I'll explain you about the experience editor, you will be get confused. Okay, so there is, I mean, the presentation, what the presentation means. I mean, let me come again into the page. Suppose it's a page. Every page will have some presentation. Okay, presentation means where, I mean, we are going to configure its layout. We are going to configure its controls or components. We are going to configure its placeholder setting. Okay, maybe we are going to configure is like a device specific controls. Maybe if it is a mobile, then it will, that component will only show in a mobile view or a mobile. If we are configuring, it will show only in the I mean the print kind of that kind of device. Okay, so there's, I mean, we have a lot of things in a Sitecore. Okay, I mean, where we can define a placeholder setting. For now I haven't defined the placeholder setting, but I'll tell you what the placeholder setting is. Okay, so I mean, up to now you can know, I mean, what our presentation is making. I mean, what are the, I mean, the attributes or key things are, it's making a whole presentation of the Sitecore. Okay, I mean, first of all, when we are opening a presentation, so it's saying like a layout details. Okay, so a layout details assign a layout, controls and placeholder. So I mean, what our presentation consists of, the layout, controls and placeholders. Okay, so when I'm opening, you can see we have a shade, we have a final layout. Okay, so shade means any, I mean, any any layout or maybe controls means any component, rendering component. Okay, or maybe placeholder we are going to define in a layout, that will be for every page as well. Okay, when we are going to create item, when we have already defined those layouts and controls or rendering components inside for the layout of the shared layout, then it will be for all. With each the controls layout is going to be sharing for every page. Okay, that's the meaning. So you can see like this tab, the shared layout details are used for every version of the item, and final layout tab display a content combined presentation details for the specific version, like a shared plus version details. So in whatever, like, you know, we are going to add or assign inside the shared layout, going to show for every version of the item. Okay, I'll show you what the version of atom. Okay, maybe now it will be a bit confusion for you, but I'll tell you what the version of the atom. For the final tab means we want to specifically assign a layout for any page specific. We want to assign any component and rendering for any page specific, like that. Okay, so this is the layout. Layout means I'll tell you about the layouts later. Let's just understand what the final layout consists of. It consists of the layout, controls means rendering and component and placeholder settings and other thing as well. Okay, these things are coming from somewhere. I'll tell you where it's coming from. Okay, so if I'm clicking the edit, I'll see there is a layout, there is a control, there is a placeholder setting. So these are the things we have to define for presentation to make a complete whole presentation. Okay, of a page. Okay, so let me go to the layout. So where the layout is coming from, there. You can see there's a layouts, then project, then mega one and layout. So it's saying it's coming from there. For the controls, you know, I can see, I mean, it's giving us an option to add the controls. Okay, if I'm clicking add, it will directly lands me somewhere like a rendering. Okay, so where the rendering is, we have a rendering node inside the layouts where, I mean, we used to define our whatever, like the renderings we make inside a Visual Studio, maybe VS Code. Okay, from there we can just pick, we can assign the placeholder, we can assign the its data source by clicking this property. Okay, so this is how, you know, we add. We have an option like we can move up and down, we can remove, we can change. Okay, there we have like a personalization, we can add personalization. I'll tell you later what the personalization means is. Okay, so I mean, and the second thing is the placeholder. So placeholder, you know, I haven't added any placeholder here, but placeholder is something, it's tells the position in the layout. Okay, so I mean, you guys saw what are the things are into the presentation of a page. Okay, let's understand one by one. Okay, let's understand one by one. I will not take more than maybe 5 minutes. Okay, then we are going to wrap up the session. Okay, so what we are going to discuss now, we are going to discuss the what is layout, what are the rendering component, what is the placeholder, and where these things are into the Sitecore, and from where these are going to be, and how these things we are going to be registered into inside the Sitecore to make a complete page. Okay, because if I'm saying a Sitecore page, it's normally not a single component or single page atom. Okay, so page is Sitecore page is like, it's made from layout, it's made from other maybe many components, placeholder, sub layout. Okay, so I mean, I saw you like how this is the one page, and how, I mean, home page is, I mean, we can just see like what are the components are attached to the home page. Home page are attaching a header, footer, main section, about, and promo. We disabled for now. So you can just if I show you, this is the header. Okay, so header is one component. Okay, now what we have a footer. So footer somewhere in a below we have, this is somewhere in a footer, so we can consider this like a footer maybe. So this is coming from the footer. Okay, next we have main section. So anything I mean, except the header and footer, for now we have considered like a main section. So everything that is rendered from the main section. About maybe somewhere we have about section. So there is a about us. Okay, so this is going to render from the about section. Okay, so this is how you have prepared like a component, you know, we have rendered them like a component. So this is about, so this about section is rendering here, we have attached that is, if I remove, then this about section will disappear. Okay, like that. So I mean, it's, you know, Sitecore give us a function, give a like a dashboard. We can just I mean, switch off this about section, or maybe we can on this about section, or maybe we can just disappear this header or footer, we can add something more in it. Okay, just I mean, I mean, when we develop, just is a configuration thing. Like if I'm just making it something, if I'm deleting this component from this presentation, then this about this about component will stop appearing here. Okay, like that. Okay, so let me go through the presentation what I have written. I'll show you this. I explain you about all these things. Okay, next thing, let me explain you about like where we are going, where I mean this layout and presentations are coming from. Okay, so we have there, we have a layout, we have a layout node. Inside the layout node, if you'll see, we have like a controls, we have device, we have layouts, models, placeholder, rendering, sub layouts, and simulators. Okay, so all, I mean these all points are not necessary. We are going to use only few things, I mean mostly like a layout node, model node, placeholder, rendering, and sub layout. Okay, so what the layout is, and what are the structure of the layout. So already we have something already created inside it. Okay, but we used to create like this. Suppose it was a project like a mega one. So what we have done, we just created a project like a folder structure like a mega one. Inside it, we created a one main layout. Okay, so again, maybe if you are wondering like what's the layout is, so let me explain you guys. Layout design, what is layout? So layout is, I mean layout means which is going to define the whole page structure, so that we call a layout. So see, so you can understand this one. Okay, let me download this one. Okay, so you guys can see this image, right? So I mean similarly we have to design. So I mean first of all we create a layout. So in layout, what we define, layout defines our header, there will be a navigation, there will be a content, maybe there will be a main content, there will be a left right side content, there will be a footer. So I mean basic structure we define into a layout. Okay, so this is what I mean our layout defines, header, footer, or maybe in between it will be a content section. Okay, maybe header, then will be a navigation component, then will be a left side content, main content, and right side content. Okay, and there is a footer, or maybe in header we have multiple component we can make. So this is overall layout means. Okay, page, in a page we have a layout. Okay, we need a layout, so that everything we can make like a like a component. Okay, so you guys understood, right, what the layout means? Layout defines our whole page structure. Okay, okay, so I have same thing, I have written it like layout. Models we have, I mean models is the, where we have to register our models. Models whenever like we are going to create view rendering into the Sitecore. Okay, when we are going to create a view rendering to the Sitecore, we define a layout. Sorry, we register some models into the Sitecore. Okay, similarly we have a placeholder. Placeholder, actually what it defines, placeholder defines as the position of placing the component and rendering in the layouts, like a header and footer. Okay, so what I was telling you now, about so header can be a placeholder. Okay, so anything, if I name something, if I place some component in header, so that component will be placed in the header. So placeholder means placing a component somewhere in some grid or some place. Okay, suppose I have a component, promo component. I want to place that component in a left side content. So there, now what the placeholder name is, we have a placeholder name like a content. So if I give like a content, it will place maybe in a left side or maybe right side, like that. Okay. So I mean placeholder name generally is a unique name. Okay, suppose if I have to that like a header, I can put that in a header. Okay, so placeholder means I mean it telling us the location, I mean where we want to put our component into the layout. Okay. Next thing, let me explain you guys about rendering. Rendering generally in a Sitecore we have, we have view renderings, we have controller renderings, we have JSON renderings, we have other rendering as well. But these are the, I mean, three renderings we mostly use into the Sitecore. In case of JSON rendering, we use JSON rendering in terms of the headless CMS, where I mean we are going to access all the content in terms of APIs on services. Okay, and view rendering and controller rendering we use when we are developing the website or application in ASP.NET, I mean in Sitecore MVC. Okay, so what the controller rendering and view rendering is. Okay, I'm not going to show you the complete, but let me just show you like what the control rendering means. Okay, control rendering in the Sitecore I'll just show you, but we'll make a control rendering, we'll make a view rendering as well into the code. Like we can render the promo component like a control rendering, promo component like a view rendering as well. But I'll tell you the difference, what the difference is. Okay, but in a Sitecore when we comes here, so I mean we keep a folder structure, so I mean everything we define inside the project. So project, I mean there will be a project, feature and foundation. This is the actually helix based structure in a Sitecore. Sitecore recommend us to use the helix pattern to develop the solution. So similar pattern we'll find in the Sitecore. Okay, so in a project we have defined like a project name Mega. So for the next, I mean we are creating a Sitecore tutorial project, so that we'll make a separate folder structure here. But for now, let me explain you with this. Okay, so now you can see it's a controller rendering. Okay, so when I'm right clicking here, and if I select like insert, I can see I am getting a lot of options like a renderings. Okay, I can create a Excel rendering, I can create a web control rendering, I can create a method rendering, I can create a URL rendering, I can create a controller rendering, I can create a item rendering, I can create a view rendering. So there are a lot renderings as well. Okay, but I'll explain you mostly the view rendering, controller rendering, or JSON rendering. Maybe the JSON rendering is not listed. Okay, but I'll tell you that as well. Okay, so I mean it was the the control rendering. Okay, similarly if we can create a, in a control rendering, what are the options we get in the Sitecore? In a Sitecore site we have to define the controller. So controller, in the whatever the controller we define into the MVC controller, that we have to define here. Okay, like our okay, so I was explaining about the control rendering. So what the control rendering is, so we have to define the like a namespace and assembly name in a controller. We have to define the action method. There we get like an area we can define, and the other things as well, like a placeholder. This we get a lot of things, but mandatory what we need to do, we have to define the controller name, we have to define the action name. Similarly we can we can create a this view rendering. Let me create a one normal view rendering, like a view rendering 1 view rendering. Okay, so when I'm creating view rendering item, what it's showing us a path. an area or maybe a model. Okay, so this model comes from the model we define here. Okay, I mean, if you have something, we can define a model here. Those model entity, we are going to reference it into the model. Path, I mean, wherever like we are, I mean, where there will be a web root path, web root view path. I mean, from where, I mean, our view rendering is, I mean, rendering component, that rendering component, rendering component file path we need to give here. Okay, and if there is any area basis, then we have to give the area. Okay, I mean, this is how, I mean, it's the view rendering and control rendering. I'll show you the other renderings as well later. There is a sub layout option as well. Okay, suppose sub layout is something, you know, we want to I mean, we want to divide divide in a columns. Okay, maybe a 2 columns, maybe a 3 columns, like a you know, the bootstrap grid wheel. Okay, right, I mean, we have a 4 columns, we have 3 columns, like that. So that kind of, you know, sub layout we can make. Sub layout means if you have a layout like a if you have a layout in a, we have a layout now in a header. Okay, we want to header, we want to divide in some maybe 3-4 I mean the grids. So that we can create a layout here, or we can layout kind of, I mean, rendering we have to create, and we can assign the layout here. So what it will happen, it will divide our one component into several grids, and maybe in each grids we can assign some component or maybe rendering. Okay, so that's the sub layout means. Okay, so practically today I'm not going to show you these things. Okay, so I mean, already we have done that. I show you in a presentation details. Okay, so but we'll show you from the scratch, like how we are defining presentation details for it. I mean, for today it was just to explain you the concept of the presentation details and the templating things. Okay, like, okay, so I think we are done for today. I mean, we approx took a lot of time. Okay, so do you have guys any question?
No.
Okay. Okay, so thank you for attending this session. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, bro.
Bye.